Song from my cell, the Spirit. Towards the end of a 10-year legal battle I became embroiled in regard to copyright infringement of my song, The Voyage. I gave a solemn promise to our daughter Neve, an avid hill climber, that I would climb any mountain in Ireland with her if I won the case. I won the case, and Neve chose Carrauntoohil, the highest peak in our country, as the most appropriate Irish mountain to scale, given the extent of the struggle I'd been through in the Four Courts. Soon after we and other family members made the gruelling climb, a disgruntled anti-Christian made the same ascent and felled the Iron Cross with an angle grinder as an act of protest against corruption and cover-up within the Catholic Church. His gripe was legitimate, but the extreme act was widely condemned even by an agnostic member of a local Kerry climbing team that immediately climbed the mountain after the desecration and re-erected the crucifix in its rock-solid base. The memory of Carrauntoohil came back to me after a horrific car crash our son Ronan was involved in as a front seat passenger on Mother's Day gone by. He is still in recovery 4 months after the accident, making slow but steady progress towards recovery. And I wrote this song for him regarding all those details. But before I sing it, I'd like to read a section from my autobiography, The Voyage, which deals with that climb. The chapter is called Carrauntoohil, and I've just given you the end section. The nearer we drew to the mountain, the more onerous the climb began to seem. It's a very long walk to get to the mountain. Finally, when we reached the first boulders and rock shelves that needed to be scaled, I looked up at the jagged incline rising into the clouds, and my heart sank. Jesus, it's almost perpendicular. A third of the way up, we stopped for a breather and took photographs with our phone cameras. The view of the valley below was spectacular. We all managed to smile for group shots, but as soon as we started trudging upwards again, Ronan started griping. Jesus, this is murder. How in the name of God did I ever allow myself to be roped into it? By the time we finally reached the top of the Devil's Ladder, the mist had become dense cloud, and the 5 of us were soaked from head to toe in sweat and grime. Gasping for breath, we slumped down on a flat rock and remained silent for a minute or so. Finally, Ronan sat up and sighed heavily. At least it's over. Neve got to her feet laughing. Over? We're not even halfway up yet. Ronan cursed. You're joking. Pádraig smiled. Neve's fella. She's not joking, and the next part is going to be really tricky, as it's very easy to go astray in this kind of mist. As there was no discernible track to follow, we took our directions from a series of cairns set at fairly regular intervals as landmarks on the slope. After half an hour or more of trudging or pushing ourselves to the limit, we reached a flat rear of rock that fooled us into thinking we were at the top, when in fact there were further heights to be scaled. Wet with sweat and gasping for breath, we finally gained the summit after almost 2 hours of walking and climbing. And we said a prayer, the appropriate prayer at the cross. So all that kind of came back to me after my son was involved in the horrendous accident. and I wrote this song. Our family climbed Carrauntoohil once, after a great trial was overcome, a symbol to mark the victory won. The devil's ladder had us almost undone, but we kept faith and even had fun, climbing towards the cloud-veiled sun. And the Spirit that took us all the way to the top, at the summit, illuminated loss and depicted the way to attain man's highest aim, purify in pain. A son impaled in agony cries out for a father's sympathy. This is a father's answer to that plea. For the Spirit that took us all the way to the cross, at the summit, illuminated loss and depicted the way to attain man's highest aim, is purified in pain. Our family climbed Carrauntoohil once, for the Spirit for Ronan. Please leave a comment and pass it on to as many friends as you can, because it might help other people in a similar circumstance. As I say, Ronan is making good progress. He's struggling to talk now, and he's eating, and he's beginning to move his legs, and he's getting there to the summit, and he'll be a better man for it, I think, looking back on it in years to come. Thanks for listening in.